Here's the print and digital ads for the festival, continuing our marketing pieces for the Summer Fest. So this one is going to be our print ad. It's a different format. It's a very tall. It's going to really take a little bit of work to get your prior design into a different format here. And then your digital ad is going to be a nice little square. Well, almost a square. Still a rectangle, but a little bit different than the prior ones as well. So print ad first. Let's go to our D2L and look at our instructions here. Again, repurposing information from the poster and postcard into two different formats. So a little bit of prompt here of what we're doing. The ads will be placed in Chicago Times. So we took information as far as the dimensions and requirements for print and digital ads from their website. Make sure you do go ahead and click in here and understand. I gave you the very final basics of our specifications for print and digital. But let's take a look at this media kit. And there's 24 pages. We're just going to go and scroll through this a little bit because it was a little difficult to find. Okay, well, here's great information, but where is the information I'm looking for? But there's a lot of marketing here on their end, trying to get people to come and advertise with them. Let's pull this down a little bit faster and find it. Okay, down, 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 down. Advertising. Okay, there's your digital ad specs right there. Did I pass the... Here's a digital ad specs. But there's also a basic one for print, which should take care of everything. And like I said, there's a lot of mark. There we go. And there's your print specs right here. So I'll go ahead and click here for a second. And actually, this should be 2 pages. So here's your print specs. And then below here, your digital ad specs. So this works out really nice. Okay. So for print, so I pulled this information into our slides, so you don't have to find it and keep looking for it. It's right there for you to access easily. But these are the different types of ads you can put into their magazine or their newspaper. Okay, a lot of information down here. Let's go ahead and look at it here because it's a little bit bigger than it's going to be on the slides. So fonts. Okay, you're going to submit a PDF. Fonts must be embedded or created to outlines. We're going to show you how to do outlines to make sure everything's done properly. They've got type specs requirements here also. Type size must be at least 6 points for black. And if you have any colored copy, it's got to be at least 10 points. And if you have any reverse type, like white on a black background or white on a photograph or something like that, it's got to be 12 points. Submitting camera-ready files must be at least 200 dpi and CMYK. RGB is not accepted. Black and white ads must have images all in grayscale. So they've got very specific requirements for advertising with them. Digital specs, you're going to see that they're actually in pixels. They're not in inches. These are all by pixels. So it's a little bit different. So let's go back to our, well, you know what? Let's go here. I've got a little bit larger. Going down, there's your specs here. So it's repeated, so you don't have to look for it. Okay. Print ad, it's pretty quick in here. It just gives you the sizes, final dimensions, and just make sure you've got the file set up properly. And then I show you what we're doing, requirements as far as what you're submitting. I do not have in here that you've got to outline your fonts, but I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, your digital ad, you're going to be doing this in pixels. So in here, make sure it's px, it's pixels, it's not inches. Going back 2 slides, 1, 2. These are in inches. This is for the print ad. Forward 2. This is going to be in pixels, px. So make sure you don't send me a 300-inch file. It's going to be a nightmare to work with. So be very, very aware that U units are changed for the digital ads. Before we go any further, I want to go ahead and flip through here again and kind of, okay, this is your making sure you're saving your files properly, but pixels and points, what this actually is. please look through this. You know that if there's more pixels per inch, it's going to be a better quality. So 72 versus 3300. For print, you've got to have 300. For screens, you're at 72. But if you try to take a 72 pixel image and print it, in a newspaper, well, newspaper, that's critical, but like a nice paper, like your postcard, like a magazine spread, you've got to have 300 or it's going to look really, really awful. If you've never seen this ruler before, take a good look at this. Take a few minutes and understand this. We've got points, picas, and inches. So if we look at the ruler first, at the left-hand side, you've got your points. So if you go to a 12-point font, which is pretty default, normal, take a look. You can actually take this ruler and put it next to the print in like whatever book you're looking at or magazine, and you can specify, well, this font is this tall, there must be 8 points, it must be 10 points, etc. In the middle, you've got the E's too, so you can find out point sizes for letter forms as well too, using all the E's in the middle. If you take a look at the bottom right, you have 12 points. This is taken from the ruler itself, so 12 points from the left side, all the bands there. The E in the middle is 12 points, and then you've got 12 points in a ruler from the bottom where it says picas. So, explain this a little bit better. Again, you need to thoroughly understand this, so take some time to figure this out. There are 12 points to a pica. So if you look at the pica on the bottom of the ruler, you've got 12 points per single pica. You look at the ruler again, there are 6 picas. 6 picas going vertically equals 1 inch. So this is something that was kind of, I think, very interesting and very important to learn years ago. Maybe not so much because the computer does everything for you these days, but please take a moment again and take a look at this. Okay, and here's your samples for print and digital. I do want to open up the poster. Whoops, let's go to the actual InDesign file. Okay, so here's the poster. Again, it's vertical. It's going to be a little bit more challenging to repurpose your prior contents. So this is going to be a little tricky. Again, we are in inches. If I right click on the ruler, I'm in inches. If I go to the digital file, I am in pixels. So it looks a little bit different. If I went to inches for a second, so this is 300 pixels wide. If I went to inches, just to kind of get you an idea, this is like 4 1/8 inches wide. So, but let's not get confused between what you're working with. So I'm gonna keep this in pixels, but just to give you an idea of pixels versus inches, okay? Or go to your ruler and take a look at that. So with a print ad, you would have to embed the fonts, or I want to show you how to, if you have not done this before. And be very careful before you do this. You need to save your file as, okay? Because once you take any copy text and create outlines, that copy is no longer text. You cannot go back and modify it, change it, edit it, never again. You've got to start from scratch. So I'm going to show you this and then undo it and then show you what you should do if you want to go through this process. So object menu, nope, we're going to type because this is type. I'm selecting a text frame and I go to create outlines. Now take a look at this. These are actually shapes. If I click on, oops, I'm going to just click outside and click on one of them. This is now shapes. Okay, I cannot grab my text tool and come back in here. It will not go in because it is no longer a font. It is just letter forms created by shapes. Let me undo this. Edit, undo, create outlines. Okay, so if you ever do this to a file, don't do it to the original. You want to do a save as, and I would save it as outlined fonts. Okay, just to keep the original intact. Now I would go back through here and go to type and create outlines. And you might want to group them. Oh, they are grouped automatically. Good. Okay. Click on the next. Now, see, what did I do this? This is in 2 text frames, and that's just sloppy. This should at least be in 1. This could be in a separate one too, a separate, a single, but these two should really be aligned in the same text frame. But I'm gonna go ahead and click on here, keep going there. Go to create outlines. And you can select all of them at once if you want to as well. Create outlines. Now there are no longer fonts. This is not a font, okay? It's a logo. There are no fonts in here. There's no reason that what you see here is what you're going to get. You will get it in the printed version of the newspaper because you know your fonts will not get messed up in any way, shape, or form. So again, these are outline fonts, not text that you can go back to and revise. If you had a typo and you didn't have the original, what a nightmare to go back and, modify that. So please make sure you do a save as for outline fonts if you ever need to.